Hey guys, welcome to Season 8, Episode 1, Trigonometry Begins. And I call this Season 8 because this is the Chapter 8 in your NCERT textbook, and I'm going to start with this, skipping over triangles, which is I think Chapter 6. But that is okay. I'm doing this because of two reasons. One, ज़्यादातर स्टूडेंट्स को इससे काफ़ी डर लगता है, and so all I really want to do is to show that there's really nothing to be afraid of. And two, triangles की जितनी भी ज़रूरत होगी, all that I'm going to cover in this anyway, so I don't think you will be needing it that much before you start this. तो दोस्तों, आप में से ज़्यादातर लोग जब भी ट्रिग्नोमेट्री सुनते होंगे तो you must be looking something like this. But after walking through this series, जब आप ट्रिग्नोमेट्री के प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहे होंगे तो आप कुछ इस तरह दिखाई दे रहे होंगे. है ना awesome? So let's begin. तो दोस्तों, इस वीडियो में I'll be giving you a basic introduction of what is trigonometry. So what is trigonometry? Basically देखा जाए तो it is the combination of three words trigon and metry, each meaning three sides and measurement. और basic meaning जो होता है trigonometry का, that is to study the relationship between the sides and angles of a triangle. Now please forgive me for my handwriting. I know it's not the best, but basically I try my best to convey the point. So it's the study of sides and angles of a triangles and their relationships, and बहुत complicated हो गया. So just let's push that aside for a little while and forget about this and try to think of some examples in our daily life where we encounter triangles. So कहाँ हम लोग triangles कहाँ encounter करते हैं, right? So there are a few very good examples in the NCERT book, and I'm going to follow the same. So let's imagine on a very bright sunny day, this is you standing here happily in your life, and this place is a very special place because ये जो रास्ता मैं बना रहा हूँ ये सीधा जाता है कुतुब मीनार की तरफ. तो ना यहाँ पे ट्रायंगल कहाँ है? Obviously Qutub Minar itself looks like a triangle, but if you try to imagine, you will really see something like this. Let me change my line style. And आप देखेंगे, if you are looking parallelly at the base of Qutub Minar, तो वो line कुछ इस तरह जाएगी. And अगर वहाँ से if you start looking at the top of Qutub Minar, वो line कुछ इस तरह जाएगी. And if you were to connect those two lines, oops, that just went a bit astray. If you connect them perpendicularly, then the triangle that you can see over there is a right angled triangle. है ना? Interesting. And suppose if you had to measure something like the height of Qutub Minar, of course without taking an actual measuring tape and going and measuring it, because that will be a bit ridiculous, right? So if you had to measure, if you could find this height and also add to it your own height, right, which is not like this but more like this, if you add to it your own height, then probably आप कुतुब मीनार की height निकाल सकते हैं. But we don't know is it even possible or not, right? So anyways, but that was an example where you see a triangle in your life. What else? Imagine you're standing here. I'll draw, oops, I need to change the line style. So imagine you're standing here, right? This is a girl, and she's also standing at the road looking at a nice hot air balloon that is floating along in the sky in the straight line. So let's say this is the hot air balloon, right? So where is a triangle here? अब उसकी आँखों से, from her eyes, if you draw a line towards where she's seeing this, right, where she's seeing this hot air balloon, that will be one line. Or agar from the same place she starts looking straight ahead, this is another line. And अगर आप वहाँ से एक perpendicular drop कर दें to the base, then these three lines again comprise of what you call a triangle, a right angle triangle. And you'll be like, yeah, aise to you can see so many right angle triangles, right? But you never really notice them or know what to do about them. And also suppose she goes and then she calls her mother up, and then when they're again looking at this same balloon, वो उड़ के थोड़ा सा दूर जा चुका है, say from point A where it was earlier to point B, right? And now if you will look at that same triangle, तो जो आपका triangle पहले बन रहा था वो थोड़ा सा change हो चुका होगा, right? Just ever so slightly. But nevertheless, you will still get another right angled triangle, right? So looking at these triangles, you think to yourself, hey, can I find out what is the height of the balloon from the ground? Yeah, for how long did it travel away from me? Yeah, in the previous case, you wanted to find out the height of Qutub Minar. And in general, there are so many problems in life, right? Where you actually cannot use a measuring tape. Suppose आपको Mount Everest की height पता करनी है, तो आप you cannot climb every time, right? Similarly, if you are interested in measuring the distance between the Earth and the Sun, you are not going to go from Earth to Sun, because that will be very ridiculous. You will melt way before you even reach anywhere close to the Sun. So you cannot go there with a measuring tape. But we still know that the distance between the Earth and the Sun is more than 150 million kilometers. And also, if you are interested in astronomy and looking at the stars, the astronomers have to find distances between the stars all the time. And you imagine how difficult a task that can be. But lo and behold, we have the very beautiful topic of trigonometry ahead of us, which is actually the tool जो use करके हम ये सारे distances के बारे में पता कर सकते हैं. We can find out these distances just with the help of triangles and trigonometry. And सुनने में बहुत tough लग रहा होगा यार, how do they do it? But trust me, it is so simple कि एक 10th का बच्चा भी ये कर सकता है. Although I know you guys are not kids anymore, so anybody can really do it. It is that easy. All you need is a bit of understanding and feel for the subject. And that is what we aim to achieve by going through this chapter, जिसको हम जब end कर रहे होंगे, तो we would have understood a little bit about trigonometric ratios and trigonometric identities. And remember guys, इस chapter में, and for the sake of 10th standard, we are only going to look at those cases where you have acute angles in the triangle. What do I mean by acute angles? I mean is your angle will be between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. So जब हम एक right angle triangle बनाते हैं कुछ इस तरह, तो these two angles will basically be less than 90 degrees. So that is what this chapter is for guys. I hope you enjoyed the origins of trigonometry, and आप शायद interested हो in becoming an astronomer or something of that field. Or probably you just want to brag around in front of your friends in class, see, I know such a good subject. Well, hey, I look forward to seeing you in the next class. So till then, bye bye.